it was a good session in that it brought out a lot of different ideas and topics about the sharing economy. I think especially as relevant to someone who's a millennial and who's living in this current world and age, there were a few points that I didn't fully agree with. And I think I was also observing the session and how it went. And I think in terms of thinking about how things are from a business sense, the sharing economy is the next economy that is bringing in the same old business ways and logics of trying to structure capital around a fixed amount of human labor in order to run a certain set of resources through this resource pool. And in terms of innovation, yes, to some extent, the sharing economy draws on ideas that are very idealistic, that maybe it draws a bit from trust, but it fixes this within a certain business capital logic, and it asks people to run the same, structures, so that capital continues to sustain itself. So in terms of innovation, the speakers raised really good points, and I think they gave really concrete ways of understanding how regulation affects the way business is able to move. But at a very fundamental level, I think the sharing economy, or at least this discussion, could have gone more into really looking at how is the sharing economy really holding true to ideas that spurred the sharing economy in the first place, or is the sharing economy just kind of the next? It is a revolution in terms of technology, but to what extent is it helping us move towards a more equitable, sustainable world? As far as I can tell, and the reason why I have stayed away from ideas of the sharing economy for a long time is that I don't see it linking in any way to sustainability. Yes, it talks about resource and asset sharing, but that's not the same as a cradle-to-cradle way of thinking about things. And yeah, so I thought it was a great discussion. I think there's much more discussion that can be had on things like this, and I would hope to see Storm Magazine hosting more sessions like this in future. Yeah.
One of the main takeaways I had from this entire session was the part for our professor from NTU actually came to speak about the future of investing in co-working spaces, and at the same time, more significantly to us students is how education is currently evolving towards one that is over a horizon basis into technology, because over the past 2 decades there's been a shortage of experts in this particular field. So with regards to co-working and this real estate space, I think one of the main takeaways I had was that it is very intricately linked with technology, and how we learn to basically harness technology to take advantage of everything around us, and especially in this particular field in real estate would be key to making money, and at the same time how we design and live in the future.
Hi, my name is Diana Hall. I'm from the United States, and I attended the roundtable today. It was really interesting just hearing about the sharing economy from the Singapore's perspective, especially in relation to what we see in the United States, where the sharing economy, I think, really kind of exploded all of a sudden. And as a consumer, just thinking about the back end of it was really interesting. And something that really stuck out to me in the conversation and the Q&A at the end was really about talking about the Singapore context, especially the education system, and how that related to innovation with young people that are kind of taking the baton as the next entrepreneurs in this space, and how that cultural context and their ability to really be creative and innovate is really important. Also in relation to the tech aspect and the more technical skills. And so it was just interesting hearing that type of cultural context, which I think is really critical.
It was a very informative talk, very interesting. I think it was good that we were able to get practitioners from the industry actually to come down. Particularly found it interesting how one of them was building tools to connect the industry, and the other guy was actually very involved in the sharing economy. Really insightful talk. I think it's a really good series that Storm has set up. Hope to go for another talk soon.
So the talk was very insightful. It wraps up about the sharing economy and how young people like ourselves can adapt to it, to the new dynamics, talking about how things like Airbnb, Grab, and all of this shifting the economy with technology, and how we young people should move forward, getting more relevant with this industry as well, like what we can equip ourselves with, analytics, IT, things like that. So It's a very interesting and insightful talk. And also we come across a lot of the Q&A session where interesting questions was asked. So they talk about how technology can affect job opportunities, and so I would say it's a very insightful talk.